So here's number 20 from this SAT prep book, and we're given some information about a variable a. A is equal to 5 times the square root of 2, or 5 root 2. And we also are given this information that 2a, which is double whatever this is, 2a, because that's 2 times a, is equal to the square root of 2x. And you're asked to solve for x. So what you can do is just create an equation based on the information that you're given. Now, this is an equation already, this is an equation, but this you can't really solve for x using this because x is not even in this equation. X is in this equation. But the problem is that you got too many variables. You got an x and then you got this a over here. But the beauty of this is that they gave you information which tells you what a is equal to. A is equal to 5 root 2. So since a is equal to 5 root 2, then all we got to do is just say 2 times 5 root 2 is equal to the square root of 2x. And then again, we're trying to solve for x. So what we're going to do is we want to get rid of these radical signs. Whenever you have the opportunity to get rid of radical signs, just get rid of them. But before we even do that, I want to distribute this 2 to get rid of the parentheses, right? So 2 times 5 root 2 is not 10 root 4, right? This 2 cannot be multiplied by this root 2, or by this 2 that's inside the radical, I should say. This 2 can be multiplied by 5. So let's do 10 root 2. Now make sure you understand why this is 10 root 2, because we did 2 times 5 root 2, right? So imagine we had 5 root 2's, right? If you double that amount, now you got 10 root 2's. That's what this is saying. You don't multiply the 2 by the 2 inside of here also. This is not the distributive property, really. It's really not the distributive property because we're not doing, this does not say 5 plus the square root of 2. This says 5 times the square root of 2. So basically right now, before we multiply, we had 5 root 2's. That's what 5 times root 2 means, right? When you double that amount or multiply by 2, now you got 10 of them. You had 5 of them, now you got 10 of them. So that's why this is 10 root 2. So now that's equal to the square root of 2x. And now we want to get rid of these radicals. Now the way you get rid of the radicals is you do the opposite operation, which is to square everything. Square the right side and square the left side. So 10 root 2. Now you got to square everything though. So 10 squared is going to be 100. Root 2 squared is really the square root of 4, which is actually 2, because the square root of 4 is 2. So that's 100 times 2 on the left-hand side over here. And then the square root of 2x is going to be the square root of 4x squared, which is really just 2x. Because whenever you square a square root, you're left with the radicand, or that term that was inside the radical sign. So now we got 200 equals 2x, because 100 times 2 is 200. And now we're just solving for x. Now it's a simple one-step equation now. Get rid of this 2 by doing division. You're not subtracting, you're not multiplying, you're not adding, you're not doing anything else. You just divide them by 2. All right, if you divide by 2 on the right, you got to stay balanced, like ancient Kemet, Mayat, and all that. 2 divided by 2 is going to be 1. So that gives you your x. 200 divided by 2 is going to be 100. And if you want to, you can go back and check your work to make sure. But x is equal to 100.